Hi YouTube, how are you? I am Lamarr Townsend. I am a tarot reader, a psychic, an energy channeler, and an astrologer. And if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. Of course, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you also hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you'll get all notifications every time I go live or upload a brand new video. Also, make sure that you follow me on my social media pages. Lamarr Townsend Tarot, alright, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch, as well as Vimeo. I do go live and post content on all those platforms quite often, so definitely make sure you check out those sites and things of that nature. Um, Also, make sure if you want a reading from me, because I am available for personal readings, and I do personal readings, check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. This is my website, and once you have reached this website, you know you are on the correct page, alright? You can definitely go to the Schedule Now button. It'll take you right to my Schedulicity page where you can schedule your reading with me. There you go. You can follow me down there on Instagram, right there, as you can see. Make sure you also go to the store section where you can directly purchase your reading from me. Like I said, I am an astrologer, a psychic, an energy channeler, and a tarot reader. So I do psychic tarot readings. I also do birth chart, natal chart readings. I also do past life readings, which you all love. I also do tarot classes. I also do tarot classes where I teach you how to read tarot based on how I read the cards. It's a 1 hour tarot session. One session, I teach you everything you need to know, and subsequent sessions after that are up to you. I also do make scarves and face masks. I sew and cut the fabric myself. I am a designer. All right, and I do candles. All right, different types of magic and spiritual candles. I also make jewelry if you'd be interested in that, and also I sell black soap, which is good for eczema, any skin issues such as discoloration, acne, and things of that nature. All right, all can be found on my website, and I'm always making new things and discovering new things, so definitely keep in touch. Okay, so in this video in 2021, I want to get closer to my audience, my social media audience on the internet, basically. And I've found that over the years, my social media audience has grown wider because it started on YouTube, then it's grown to Facebook and Instagram, and now it's grown to TikTok and Twitch and Vimeo. So who knows where I'm going to be. Oh, also I have a podcast too. So who knows where I'll be going like in the future. You can check out my podcast on Spotify and Anchor and other places. But I don't know, I want to get more connected to my YouTube audience. So one thing I really want to do is I want to share some really life-changing moments throughout my lifetime that I've had. Maybe to help you get a better understanding of who I am, a better understanding of how spirit works, and maybe some inspiration. So what I'm going to do in this video is basically I'm going to be telling you some stories in my life that have happened that have really changed my life for the better. And welcome to my living room, by the way. We're in my living room, which is going to be one story, so that's pretty cool. But I have different artifacts that I want to show you as well here, as well as different photos that we're going to look at, including certain celebrities and stuff like that, that I've kind of I guess, interacted with and stuff like that, or have seen in person. So let's get started and talk about some life-changing moments in my life and how they have maybe affected me, not even maybe, but how they have affected me and shaped me to become who I am today. By the way, if there are any issues in the end, if this turns out a little bit choppy, please forgive me. I ended up refurbishing one of my old MacBooks from college, and I ended up getting the keyboard fixed, so it's updating. A lot of my software is updating now, so it might cause some choppiness in the recording, but let's get into it. 6 of the most life-changing events of my life so far, and mind you, these are only 6. There have been way more, but these are ones that still linger today pretty strongly. So, I want to say the first one, and probably the most important one, is, the life changing, event that, number one is the time I got to spend with my dad, actually. Now, my dad has since passed away. He passed away in April of 2010, and he passed away on April 1st, ironically. So, that's such an ironic day to pass away. But one of the reasons why I really cherish the time I got to spend with my dad is because, he taught me a lot about being a businessman, being a business owner. He owned his own barbershop. And even as I became a teenager, he found, so many different creative ways. A lot of people say, obviously, we look alike, but he found so many different creative ways to make money and for me to make money. And he always made sure that me, not only me, but my entire family were good. When it came to money and things like that, whenever I needed new shoes or needed something new, it was no problem with my dad around. So he also taught me, that, it pays to look good, it pays to treat yourself well and to also give back to your family. And, the values he taught me even about family and how it's family over everything, and, there's so many times where I meet people today who know me through my dad, and I have no idea who they are, but somehow they know me. I've known you since you were little. I remember you when you were little, So it's kind of like my dad gives me a little bit of clout, and I do believe that, like, if my dad were alive, my life, although certain things probably would be the same, would probably be a lot different. Um, for many different reasons. So one of the most life changing things is the time I spent with my dad, and I do cherish it a lot. So definitely cherish your families. All right, I'm not gonna cry in this video. You guys have seen me cry before. All right, the next one is graduating from college. Yes. So, by the way, everything these life changing events I'm saying have all happened in succession. Like they've all happened, one after the another. In the correct timing. So this is the second life changing event. Is me graduating from university. I graduated from VCU, which is Virginia Commonwealth University. If you didn't know, I grew up in Virginia. I grew up in Leesburg, Virginia, which is very quiet town, very quiet city. Nothing really happens there. Not too much drama. A lot of rich, spoiled kids. But it's all in between. It's a mix of, in between as well. But it's a mix of wealthy, a mix of middle class, a mix of lower than middle class and things of that nature. But um, I ended up going to VCU, which VCU is known a lot for its art program, which is what I pretty much participated in. It's also known for its, I believe, medical program, among some other things. So this is my story with this. I originally went to VCU for business. And then I was just telling my friend this story a couple days ago. I got to accounting, and I was like, this is not for me. I can't do accounting. So I ended up talking to a counselor somehow, and he gave me some sort of assessment and helped me figure out, because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that the business was no longer for me. So he ended up giving me some sort of assessment. He ended up finding out, that I'm more creative, so we ended up going the creative advertising route, which was, that in itself was a life changing event, and I think really, really helped me with my YouTube channel. So thank you. I wish I knew who that man was, because man, that I think was really life changing in the sense that I think it made college a little bit more easier, because I really, really felt like what I was studying from that point on was really what I was supposed to be doing, and it turned out to be true. But also, it made college a lot more enjoyable, and it made it so that, like, what I was doing wasn't wasn't for like a waste of my time. You know how, like, there's like a lot of instances, like, there's just a lot of instances, for example, where, a lot of college students get into the wrong track or the wrong field, and they end up graduating or not graduating or struggling because they're on the wrong track. So, I followed my intuition and kind of, ended up going to someone and saying, I think I'm in the wrong track. And it led me to the path that I ended up on, which was creative advertising. So when you see, the graphics on my YouTube channel and, the graphic design and my thumbnails and banner, that's all me. I don't have anyone else do that. The songs that I do and stuff like that. So basically that's what I studied in college. The commercials you see on TV, the stuff you see in magazines, the wording and things of that nature. That's what I studied in college. So that's advertising. That's creative advertising. Would have went to get my master's, but I ended up doing YouTube, and it ended up being really lucrative for me, and here I am, which we're gonna get into a little bit later. But so glad I graduated college, and not to mention college. While college was definitely full of a lot of extremely fun memories, especially those first, I would say, 2 years, and then my senior year was really fun. I had was in college for 5 years, which means I had a super senior year. The first 2 years were the best, sophomore year and freshman year were really fun, and then my senior year was fun. Junior year and super senior year were not so much fun, but full of a lot of good memories, not so good memories. But I was really glad to graduate college, and I sometimes find myself feeling nostalgic about college. Mind you, I went to college before the COVID and quarantine and stuff like that, so I got to really experience college in all its fullness and glory and fun. All right. My next life changing event was picking up my first tarot card deck. Child, once I picked up this deck, honey, it's like a fire was lit under my booty, honey. I mean, now mind you, this is probably my my second or third purchase of this deck. This was literally my first tarot deck. So I think I was in college once again, because this is all in succession, and it was my super senior year. I was just about to graduate. I still didn't know what I was going to do, because I was going on interviews, and I was getting good feedback about my design skills and stuff like that, but I wasn't booking jobs. But one thing I was doing was YouTube. And I was watching, tarot readers such as Tracy Brown and House of Stars, who I ended up becoming friends with, which is crazy. And I was really inspired by them. And I ended up going to a metaphysical shop near VCU in Richmond, Virginia, which I ended up buying this at my first tarot deck, which I thought was oracle cards, but it ended up literally being a tarot deck. And then I ended up just reading on my own, and I ended up, these videos are still up today, by the way. I don't know how many views they have, probably not that much, but I ended up posting readings on YouTube, and I ended up getting some sort of traction. And in my Capricorn mind, I'm like, oh, I'm getting views, even if it's not like in the thousands, 50, and 200 views, when I was used to getting like maybe one view, or like over 4 years or 2 years, maybe getting like 50, 200 views. I was like, I'm onto something here. So I just continued posting videos, and I ended up being able to, create an income and a business and a job out of YouTube, basically. And here I am. All of this started from purchasing this one tarot deck. Would you believe that? This helped me delve deeper into astrology, which helped me to figure out more about myself and others. Which helped me to once again meet my idols, basically, or people I looked up to. First, I met House of Stars, who helped me get into magic, and spirituality deeper, which really helped me with my readings and my business. And then I ended up meeting last year, Tracy Brown, ended up connecting with her, and we ended up doing her show together. I don't know, hopefully we'll do some stuff together in the future, but we still are connected, and it's been an amazing journey. But this all happened just from me picking up this one tarot deck. Still, now mind you, this isn't the original tarot deck. I wish I could find the original deck, like the first ever tarot deck I got, but I don't know. I literally don't know where that is. I don't know if I still have it, because it would be so beat up by now. Um, but yeah, okay. So I think the next thing, that was number three. Let's get into the celebrity portion. All right. The celebrities. Okay, I have some stories for you guys, some silly stories for you guys, or not so silly stories for you guys about celebrities. The first one is Brandy. Brandy Norwood. All right. I wish there was a way to zoom in. Can I zoom in? Mind you, I'm on my old MacBook. There we go. I took this picture of Brandy. As you can see, it's pixelated. I don't know what. This must have been like the iPhone 5, 5C or something like that. But I took this picture of Brandy in DC. Now, this is a funny story because this was in 2012, right after Whitney Houston died. It was also her kind of comeback, Brandy's comeback after maybe not putting out an album for like, I don't know, 8 years or something like that. So, she was really kind of apprehensive about how the public would receive her. Now, here's the funny story with this. I actually didn't originally have tickets to this show. Um, what ended up happening was I've always been a huge fan of Brandy. Like, I would say my first ever like person I stand was Brandy. Like her, she has Whitney Houston. Brandy to me is probably like Whitney Houston. Brandy is my Whitney Houston. Like, loved Moesha, loved, wished I had a Brandy doll, was jealous of my cousin who had a Brandy doll, loved her and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, loved her, all her albums. I mean, I was a stan. So I had never seen Brandy in person, had never seen her in concert, and it's always been a dream to see her in concert, right? I had seen so many different celebrities, Destiny's Child, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Mary J. Blige, and so many different other, people in concert. Never seen Brandy. Didn't have a ticket though, but something told me Spirit, and this was before I was even into like astrology or tarot or anything like that. Something told me to just go. This was like one of my only chances I was gonna have to see her. So I was like, something told me, even though you don't have a ticket, maybe just go and see if like you can, wait outside and maybe get like an autograph after the show or something like that. So that's what initially I went, and I actually remember getting a magazine. She had a magazine with Monica. I think It All Belongs to Me had just come out as well. So they had just done Vibe magazine or something like that. So I brought the magazine and like a pen and maybe like a CD I had. And I drove all the way to DC, which wasn't far from where I lived in Leesburg. It was only like 30 minutes. And my plan was to wait after the show, but something told me to like go up to one of the I guess guards at the front door and just like kind of like ask them like, is there a way to get in, is there a way to get a ticket? So what ended up happening was I ended up going to one of the guards and basically saying, listen, I love Brandy. I'm such a huge Brandy fan. I drove all the way here to see her from Leesburg. And, I was hoping to just be able to see her from, just after the concert. But I was just wondering, is there any way I could get into the concert, at all? And at first he said no. And at first I was like, okay, like I understand, but I was so bummed. But Spirit said something like to me, like, no, go back and just really tell him how much you are a fan of her, like really let him know. So I went back and I was like, sir, I'm such a huge fan of her, and I've never seen her in person. This is my only chance to see her in person, and I absolutely adore her. So he kind of looked me up and down for a second and was like, okay, give me like, I forgot, I don't know if he said $20 or $40, but he was like, if you give me $20 or $40, I'll let you come in. Child, when I tell you I sprinted to the nearest ATM, honey, all right, and got out that $20 or $40. I might have even given him a tip, honey. All right, and I sprinted back, and I gave him the money, and he let me in. And I don't remember who was performing. She had like a few. She may have had one or two like pre-performers. But I just remember the curtain opening and me seeing her for the first time, and it really being life changing for so many different reasons. One, because it was my first time seeing her, and I was still in college. This was 2012, so maybe 2013. So I was probably in my sophomore year. I was going through a lot of transitions then. Sophomore year, from freshman to sophomore year, you lose a lot of friends and people because people move, people quit, people can't, pay for college anymore and stuff like that. So, and you lose friends. It's just, it was in classes and stuff like that. You're going through behind the scenes and family stuff, life stuff. So, it was really, really a lot to be able to see her for the first time. And I took this picture. She looked beautiful, as you can see. But it was really a testament of me following my intuition and following spirit, even though I didn't have a ticket, even though that, for all intents and purposes, for all I knew, that man would have said no, could have said no, not cared. Something about my resilience, spirit telling me to be resilient, and me listening was really life changing. Seriously. And I think there was something about that was part of my spiritual path. Lana Del Rey. Now, this is kind of like minor. One, because it was a really good show. But two, once again, this was probably with my iPhone, all right? And I remember not being too far from the front stage, obviously, but I was kind of far to where I was like, there's no way she could see me. And I don't know if you can see, but it looks like she's like looking at me, kind of. Yeah, if it weren't so pixelated, it literally looks like she's looking at me. And I always hold this photo close to me, very dear and close to me. I don't know what song she was performing. Probably one of my favorites. I absolutely love Lana Del Rey. Lana Del Rey is the probably like soundtrack to my college years. My freshman year of college was when she first came out. Born to Die first came out. And then from there I discovered all of her unreleased music. And then Ultraviolence and Honeymoon, so really like I grew, I went through college with Lana Del Rey. And I'll never forget, during this concert, she performed one of her unreleased songs, which was one of my favorites. She performed Serial Killer. But there's something about this picture and her looking at me in the crowd of people and it almost looks like a halo around her almost. Like her looking at me and like being able to pinpoint me. And by the way, Lana Del Rey's looking at me. She looks like she's looking at me in this picture. We're gonna talk about this, a celebrity looking at me, in the next one too. But there's something about that where it was like something like told me energy speaks. Like I think my energy was speaking to her, even though. And I think I was also holding up my camera or something like that in the crowd of people. She was able to pinpoint me. And I always say to people, like, it almost looks like she's looking up the peace sign and, like, posing a little bit for me. But I don't know. For me, this is always, like, really cool, a cool picture, like, as, like, she's looking at me. And it's almost like we're connecting. And it's energetic. And it's energy. Once again, this is probably 2014. I probably, there's a video actually I have of me reviewing this concert, coming back home from this concert literally, that night, and reviewing it, doing a review. And I might even talk about like making eye contact with her. So go ahead and like check out that I might link that. I might try and link that, but if I don't, view it on my channel. The next one. Oh, by the way, this is Grimes. So this is Grimes in the early years. This is in 2014, I think, or she opened for Lana Del Rey. This was really cool. This was, I think, maybe when Art Angels came out, and I love Art Angels. It's one of my favorite albums. It came out when I was in college once again. It always reminds me of my time like doing internships and stuff like that, and it really like helps me to get in my creative mode, Art Angel. So it was really cool to see her live before she blew up really big. So I always thought that's like super cool. Lady freaking Gaga. You want to talk about life changing? First of all, seeing her live was life changing. But being able to be up so up close to her, you may often hear about Lady Gaga, especially during this time period. This was the art pop time period, which was probably the height, her pinnacle, her like opus magnus, I think is what they call it, or like her height, her height. You know, you may have heard, from a lot of people, during this era and prior that, her concerts were life changing. Her concert was so life changing. You guys, I have never experienced post concert depression until I went to a Lady Gaga concert. When I got home from this concert, I took this picture obviously. When I got home from this concert, I had depression a little bit. I was like, I want to go back. Like that, it was so fun. It opened my mind so much. I met friends. I met friends from my college. I also met new friends. I met a young Italian guy that I ended up dating that summer at this concert. That's never happened to me at any other concert before, and I've been to a lot. But being so close to Lady Gaga and taking this picture really opened me in my creativity. And once again, I'm a stan of her too. Been a stan since the Fame Monster. I actually had tickets to the Born This Way ball, but then she canceled it because she broke her hip. So, look at her now. This is before she became big. So it's like, this to me is like, I saw her at this point in her career up close and personal. And I was just saying last night, I will never forget Shyola. I will never forget when she rose from that stage, from the bottom of that stage, honey. And the thing said, okay, I don't know whose voice. I think it was her voice. But it was like an announcer voice. It was like her as an announcer, and it was like, now performing Lady Gaga. And she rose from the bottom of that stage, kind of like Brandy. Oh my god, I will never forget that. It was so epic. This was actually the beginning of the concert. She was wearing that outfit, but she had on like wings, these like really elaborate cool wings. I guess she took them off by this point, but this was may have been like the second song. And to see where she is now, she performed at the freaking inauguration a couple days ago. It's crazy. So that was 4, 5, and 6 right there. Do I need to say more? I mean, I have more, but man. Oh, I didn't even say. I guess this would be 7. Would this be 7? Because we said my dad graduating college with tarot cards, Brandy, Lana, Gaga. I guess 7 would be getting this apartment. Living on my own. This was life. This has been life changing. Paying my own bills. Has it been easy? Heck no. Hell no. But has it been life changing? Absolutely. I've learned a lot of lessons, and I've learned strength. I've learned what it means to hustle and to be a business owner and to really once again thanks to my dad, among seeing these celebrities and different tarot readers, I've learned that it's important that your business is your word, your reputation is your word. So I put my clients first, I put my business first, I put my work first. And sometimes that doesn't always work against me. Like, I wish I could go back to concerts. I miss that, you know? But these are some life changing moments I've had. I want to know what have been some life changing moments in your life. What have been some moments in your life that have made you be like, wow? After this, I can't think of life the same way. Good or bad. Alright, you guys. I'm done. I've been talking for 30 minutes. Wow. Alright, you guys. Thank you for listening and watching. This has been my video about 7 life-changing moments in my life and how they shaped me. Thank you for listening and watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Until next time.